Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. In this episode, I want to show you how I shot a car from the future. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. My name is Serge. I'm a French photographer from the beautiful cities of Paris, France, living in Los Angeles, California. And recently I got a job. I had to shoot an amazing car from the future. It's a car that's not out yet. It's actually a little bus that has the ability to take 14 people and drive them without anybody driving it. It's a car from the future. So let me show you the behind the scenes and let me show you the final result and the full retouching. Here it is. All right, mesdames et messieurs, so I want to show you how I shot this photo. This car is called the Coast. It's actually a bus. It's called the Coast Autonomous, and I'm going to put the link, if you're interested in having this for your company. If you're watching this, it's a bus that can carry up to 16 people without any drivers. For Disney or stuff, things like this, it can be really cool. Big attraction parks, and so the person who invented this is actually a personal friend. And he, I said, I would love to take a photo for you so you can use for your brochure and your website. And he was excited, and we organized a photo shoot. Yeah, so we shot this at, I think it's called Isla del Sol in St. Petersburg. I just wanted to have a way that was going toward the west, so I had the sun and some palm trees, because this coast. So I wanted like a coast feeling. So we got there a little early. Let me show you. The first thing that I did is I actually shot some portrait of my good friend. This is Monsieur Pierre Lefebvre, who is the inventor of this car. And I shot a few photos of him. And then let me show you what we did. So then I started shooting the car, but I was waiting for the sun to come down. I shot this, with, I think I had a 24-240. And then the final shot. So the thing is that, I really wanted the sun to be the lowest possible, because when it gets very low, that's when you get really that glow. Okay. And I shot this, let's see here. I shot this with, 24-240. That's my go-to lens. And what I did is I was bracketing. So, I was taking basically that's the underexposed, that's the normal exposed, and that's the overexposed. And usually, when I bracket, I usually use the normal exposure. But on this one, it's good that I did bracket because it didn't work. Let me show you. So if I do my workflow, by, opening up the shadows, bring down the highlights, and then holding my blacks until I had about 3% of black, and then holding my whites, until nothing was burned, and even lowering the photo, you see, I lost this info. Somehow that information is not there. Although Lightroom says it's there, it's just, I don't have any gradient. So I very fast shined away from this one, and I took the underexposed photo, and I started doing the same workflow. So I put up the shadows, I brought down the highlights, and then I did my white point to the limit, my black point. So when I do my black point, I always make sure there's about 2 or 3% of the photo which have details, which are pure black. But when I do the white point, I want to make sure it's not all of them. Okay, now the hardest thing in this type of photo is to find the right white balance. By default, I think I had it on daylight. And you see, the problem with daylight is that it's already very warm. If I go down to shade, it's going to be even warmer. So shade makes everything, yellow. And back in the days, I used to add a bit of magenta, and I was kind of happy with this very sunset feeling. But in this one, I didn't want that. I wanted something that went from blue to orange. So what I decided to do is to go to daylight and then add back a little bit of blue and add a bit of magenta. I think that's what I did on the original retouch. And also, let me clean that up. There is a sensor dust here that's really calling my eye. It says, please erase me. So that's done. That's good. So then what I did also is that I did a gradient here. So I click one time, lowered. And on this gradient, I usually do two things. So I go first to temperature, and I added a bit of blue because I wanted some blue in the skies toward the sun here, and lowering the exposure a little bit. Something like this, maybe adding a bit of saturation. Or maybe not, just a little bit like this. So now we have like a little gradient that's kind of cool. And then, so what I did also is that I took the radial circle. I'm going to make a big radial circle. I'm going to invert it and feather it. So whatever I'm doing is going to happen inside of the circle. And on this one, I'm going to add a bit of yellow and a bit of magenta. Okay, the idea of this was that I wanted to have the sky go from blue to yellow. Okay, something like this. And one thing you can do, you see how one thing you can do is you can go here in this new option in range mask. You can go to luminance and you can hold on the Alt key on your keyboard, the option key, and go right. And that's going to create a mask. So basically the way masks work, like it does on all the Photoshop products, is black concealed, white reveals. So in black, the tree's in black now. So if I do that now, the whatever color I added is going to be behind the tree. But honestly, in this case, I don't really care because I want the spillover of the yellow to go over it. Now, one thing I really didn't like about the photo is that there was too much details here on the sky. If you look at my final retouching, it's much more glowing. So what I did was that I basically, I boost a little bit the highlights a little bit like this. Okay, then I added a bit of contrast. Now that's good. And I think there was too much road. So what I do is I use a crop tool and I go here to go to 69 to make it more pano. And I think I did something like this, rule of third. I wanted the vehicle to be here in this two golden points of the rule of third. Okay, so that's good. That's starting to look like something. And then I think I added a bit of vibrance and a bit of clarity. Or not too much vibrance, just a little bit like this. Okay, and usually what I do at this point is I'm just going to do two things. I'm going to go to Photoshop to clean it up. So I'm going to right click, edit, Photoshop, because I want to clean up a little bit the image. So here I am in Photoshop, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this here. I just want to do some final retouch. Just show you my workflow. I'm going to take the spot hitting brush tool, and I just want to clean up the road a little bit to make it like more of an add thing. And there's some like spots here. There is some like do not enter signs. And I love this spot hitting brush tool because when it's surrounded by texture, it just does a great job of just cleaning up the photo a little bit. I don't want to go crazy on this. Was not like I would spend more time. Like I would spend more time here on the car if it was, but they didn't care really. Here there is a little spot that I'm going to erase. I could spend a lot more time just cleaning up the car, but that was just a general idea. And then what I do is, let me go back to my layers. I'm going to go to filter, MacPhun Luminar. I like to play around with Luminar, and there's a few things I like to do with Luminar to just, it's a little je ne sais quoi that you can add to your photo to make it really cool. So usually what I want to do in Luminar is I've got my filter that I love. One of them, so you can go here. I'm going to go to my favorite filter. The one I really like on this one is a detail enhancer. I think on this one I want to add more details on the car. So I'm just going to add small, medium, and large details, which is going to do everywhere, right? But I don't want it to be everywhere. I just want it to be on the car. So then what I do is I take a little brush. I click here, take the brush, and now you see I'm on paint. As soon as I'm going to start brushing, basically the whole detail effect is going to go away, and it's going to be only, see here, I have a little mask and it's black and you see a white. So black conceals, white reveal. So basically the details are only going to be where I'm brushing. It's not a huge deal, you see. Here, before, after. It just makes the thing a little more shiny. One more thing I think I want to do on this one, I'm going to add a filter. So add a filter one more. I'm going to go to the sun ray filter. I love the sun ray filter. Check this out. So here's my sun rays. And so I can have sun rays here. And I'm just going to put the sun rays where the sun was. And here, somewhere there. Voila. Now that's way too much, so I'm just going to lower the amount of the sun rays. And then maybe just add a little bit of warm so that it matches the sky. Just adds a little bit, a little thing of light here. Let me show you before the sun rays, after the sun rays. Yeah, it's a little too much. I'm going to lower the amount, lower the glow just make it, penetration is very important also. It's very subtle, it just adds a little bit of something there, Okay, you got to be very subtle with that. And then there's one filter that I love to use on this one. It's all about its advanced contrast. Now, advanced contrast is amazing because it does something you cannot do in Lightroom. And by the way, if you want to get Luminar, I get a special deal for you. Link is below this video. So, so highlights. You see here, I can boost the contrast in the highlights, in the midtones, and when you boost the contrast, it always adds saturation, and in the shadows. It has a way to make the photo pop that no sliders in Lightroom can do. So before the advanced contrast, after. So it made the whole photo more saturated. I really wanted to go for a very glowy saturation look. And basically that's it. So that's all I did, is really my 3 favorite filters. So I'm going to apply all that, and that's going to go back to Photoshop. So I'm back in Photoshop, and this is the before and the after. So I erased a few things, made the the light ray, made the photo pop. Very subtle, but Luminar is all about subtleties. I have this saying like, do what you can in Lightroom and Photoshop, and when you look for new ideas, go to Luminar. It's a really cool thing. So I'm just gonna close this now, and that's gonna go back to Lightroom, and we are good to go and ready to deliver the photo to the customer. So that's really my workflow, how I retouch this photo. I really like it. The customer was blown away. That's not the final image. The final image is this one, I think. No, actually, that's the final image. I think I would maybe add even more contrast, something like that. Yeah. Then usually what I do at this point is it's a little not too much contrast. At this point, I let it rest and I go look at something else and I do some final tweaking. But that's just a general idea of how I retouch these photos and the tool that I used. Voila, so check out Luminar. Also, don't forget, if you want to get my free presets, I got some really cool presets for you. It's my signature presets. I got some free sky, some free texture, and I just added a whole bunch of videos to use it. If you're on Facebook, all you have to do is click on the link below, and you just click on that and you'll get it right away on your messenger. And then I'm going to be sending you special tutorials on your messenger for free, special promotion. So click the link below, check out the Luminar. I hope you enjoy this type of things, and I'll see you in another video. Mesdames et messieurs, au revoir. Oh, by the way, if you like this, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you didn't get a chance to. And please leave me a comment and tell me what you would like to learn. What did you think of that? What you would like to learn, whether it's photography, Lightroom, or Photoshop. Just leave me a nice comment. It gives me inspiration. I've done over 400 videos. I'm always looking for ideas, and I can't wait to hear what you got to say. Thank you so much, and I will see you in another free video. Au revoir.